that works the way I've just described, a capitalism, could possibly survive. It imposes crisis after crisis and can't solve it. It destroys lives of millions of people in countless ways and can't stop itself. And between crises, it divides the society apart into polarities of rich and poor. How in the world could such a system survive, especially in a society that is committed to democracy, to one person, one vote, to having people participate in the decisions that affect their lives? The greatest danger to capitalism has always been real democracy. Why? Because the first thought of people will be, if I'm being screwed by the economic system, if capitalism is doing a number on me, maybe I can use politics, where one person, one vote, and we workers are the majority. Maybe I can use politics to undo what capitalism is doing to me in economics. That would be a logical brain use of the mass of people. And the rich figured that out too. And the corporations figured that out too, which meant that long ago, they knew that to survive as a system, capitalism, which produces crises and inequality on such a scale, would have to render democracy dysfunctional. They have to get rid of it by making the candidates dependent on their money, by making the parties dependent on their money, by having think tanks that are flooding the airwaves with a different way of thinking about the world than the one I just said. Because otherwise they couldn't survive. They had to make politics merely formally democratic, but not in reality. So there's no mystery to the inequality, to the crisis, and to a political system that cannot respond to a system that doesn't work, because that is the only way this system has ever survived. Final conclusion. When I say capitalism, I don't mean what I think many of you do. I don't mean a system particularly where ownership is in private hands as opposed to public hands. And I don't mean a system where planning replaces markets. I understand those differences, and I'm interested in them, and I have probably the same views about them as you do. But I mean something else. The linchpin of capitalism, for me, and the thing we have to focus on now, is how our enterprises are organized. We have to look at every enterprise, and we have to say, as radicals, something I think the American people are able and willing to hear now. It is a fundamentally undemocratic system, this capitalism. The mass of people go to work every day, Monday through Friday. They get to work, they're told what to do, how to do, what to do it with, and at the end of the day, they know you go home, but what you gave your brains and muscles to help produce, it stays there. And if you forget that and take some of that home with you, people in dark blue uniforms come to your house and they hurt you. And that's how you learn, if you don't learn the other way. As long as a tiny group of people, the major shareholders, select another tiny group of people, the board of directors. We're talking 10 people, the major shareholders, and another 15 on the board of directors. As long as they make all the decisions about what to do in a factory or an office or a store, what to produce, how to produce, where to produce, and what to do with it, then we have only ourselves. We permit that, we have only ourselves to blame. Of course they'll run the system to benefit themselves. Of course they'll pay themselves high salaries. Of course they'll move the factory to China if it's more profitable. Of course they'll buy the politicians. If we leave that as it is, we condemn ourselves and our children to a continuation of a system that no longer serves the needs of the people in it. When Roosevelt did his thing, pressed by the masses, he gave them, and he taxed the rich. Did it destroy his political career? On the contrary. The most popular president in American history was re-elected 4 times. It had never happened before. So powerful was his majority in America that the Republicans, as soon as he was dead, passed a bill that makes it impossible for a president to run more than 2 consecutive terms. That's our history. So it wasn't a bad political move. It was the best move that politician ever made. In the most successful capitalist country right now on earth, in terms of how they've weathered the crisis, is Germany. My last thought to leave you with. In Germany, there's a new political party on the left. It's only a few years old. To make sure everybody understood where it comes from, it calls itself Die Linke, which is in German, the left. That's a clue. They call themselves the left. In the last national election, they got 11.9% of the vote in Germany. 1 out of 8 Germans voted for them. And one of their slogans in their campaign was this: Germany can do better than capitalism. So don't tell me a party that says it like it is and tells this story couldn't have a very different response that you might be led to believe if you don't see what is changing in the United States, as I do all the time. And I can give, and I am giving, the speech you just heard everywhere in the United States, and the response is the most encouraging thing that keeps me going. This is not a minority opinion anymore. All it takes is enough of us going around and saying it, and things are going to change big time and quickly. Thank you very much.